Mics are on. Mics are on.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't know what you were gonna call me out. Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Ward, Jamie, and the rest of the staff at IHCDA. Thanks for having us. This is one of our favorite projects. We've already had this space since 2012. I'm Tony Noel, I'm the CEO of TRG Development. That's a recent new thing. So we just want to do a real quick sound about that, and then I'll find about that, and also just run through kind of what we've been up to and this property, and have our property manager come up and say a couple of words about the services and things we've done and how we've integrated the tenants and kind of the community here. So TWG, for those who don't know, founded in 2007. I said that Joe and I, Joe is kind of a pillar of this interesting community. So people have, that was really a great way for us to start. And we really wanted to be where we are today without IHCDA. Our first 10 or 15 transactions of the 80 or 90 that we've done were with this organization. So we want to say thank you. We have about 225 employees. Some of them are here today, and we're in 11 states. We kind of follow the footsteps of those other great organizations, whether it's Texas or Hermanville or Brady Collins, and we're fully integrated now with architecture, development group, a construction group, and an architecture group. Kind of today, our focus is 9% transactions in the states we're in. We also are really focused on workforce housing, whether that's through opportunity zones and partnering that with a 4% deal or just market rate housing in general. I was talking earlier with some of the staff. I think the thing that's unique about us that's been great is we've been able to take kind of things we've learned from affordable housing and mix that in with the privately funded market rate that we've done. We just closed a 280-unit deal in Pittsburgh, about $55 or $60 million. So we were able to work with the Urban Redevelopment Authority that 10% of those units be at 50% AMI. And I don't think we would have that expertise if we didn't start out what we did with IHCDA. So yeah, I would just say, Joe retired in April, and Stephanie Collins, who some of you know, and I purchased the firm, and we have some, we made sure we kept our management in place, and we're ready for another 12 or 15 years with IHCDA. A little bit about this project. It's called Florence Bay. We bought it from IPS in a surplus auction. Which I think is part of that process. It's pretty interesting. It's kind of like the last person that puts in the bid to win. So those are kind of fun if you're on board. You'll watch those. And this school was purchased, it was vacant for 10 years and was used for storage, which is pretty typical of IPS. They kind of rethought how they're going to run their organization based upon where people, move in the suburbs and such. It was financed with ICE in 2016 with LifeTech. It's about a $13.5 million deal. And as I said before, we're very proud of this one. It's a part of the city that has a lot of attention to it with the Central Justice Center and some other things. And we feel like we're part of some of the first development in this area. It's 73 apartments. 53 of those are in schools, 20 are in the construction part. This is in a promise zone, which was a big deal for the city and the federal government at that time. And this is NGDS Emerald. And one of the things that when we walked in, I don't know if you noticed, the parking lot, we capture all the rainwater on this property here, and we do not affect the city's storm management system whatsoever. And the other thing that was really neat about this, and John and I ran this project, and before I turned over to the project manager, this was a school that still had great alumni group, 50, 60 years after they graduated here. So we have some 10 way that, kind of reinvest the neighborhood. So with that, Lisa, if you come up and just kind of talk a little bit of the quality of life of the residents, some of the programs we do. Thanks.
Hi, how's everyone doing today? Good. I'm Lisa, I'm the property manager here. Horn State opened in December of 2017, so we've been open just a little over a year and a half now. We have a mix of amazing residents, very diverse. What's great about the property is I feel like they have already bonded. They tend to look after each other, take care of each other very well. We do several events for our residents here throughout the month. We try to do at least 2 or 3 events for them every month. We have activities with Oak Street Health Center. Oak Street Health Center comes in and they do different bingo functions. They do healthy wellness classes. So they have been a big part of doing services for our community here. We just recently had a pop-up market where they brought in fresh produce for the residents and it was at no charge. We have a wonderful courtyard that the residents love to sit out and they hang out and talk and sit back. Big, beautiful building. We have a wonderful community room upstairs on the 3rd floor. One end is like we have a TV and we're putting in a TV. So that's the process. But we have a TV on one end and games. The other end is like books and more of a quiet area for the residents. We are very excited about the development of 20th. Being the first, building that they really got finished in the area. We've had some struggles with that. Just the area and the homelessness. We battle down on a day-to-day basis. We feel for those people, those individuals. However, just trying to keep our buildings safe and keep them out of our building. We have had some struggles, but we are working on that. IHCDA has been actively engaging. They just recently held a roll call here. We have snacks and everything for them, so they're with us now. We know some people are doing citizens out there. I think in the future we may post maybe a cookout for them, like with our roll calls, because they have been a big part of our building being successful right now. We have wonderful residents. Some days they have issues between each other, and I have to remind them, hey, it's not property management. You all figure it out amongst yourselves. But they really are a wonderful group of people. They tend to look after each other quite a bit. Anybody needs a ride or make sure they haven't seen one out during the day, they know they're going to step on them. They have they don't have to have one. They're seeing so excited and know if they're okay where they're at. So I'm very grateful for this program. I haven't seen it again, like I said, in December of 2017, and I just look forward to the neighborhood flourishing and my residents making this their forever home. Thank you.
Excuse me. Some of us are old, kind of hard of hearing. I can't understand the words you guys are saying up there.
Suzanne Crouch, Lieutenant Governor.
Jacob Sipe, Director at the Indiana Housing Community Development Authority. Any place, board member?
Sheena Robinson, paralegal and board secretary of IHCDA.
Great, so please welcome. Thank you. Some of the microphones aren't working, but we'll make sure we pass them around. Please welcome Angie Haas to discuss our whole tenant-based rental assistance award recommendations. Welcome, Angie.
The whole tenant-based rental assistance program provides short-term rental assistance utility deposits to income side. I'll just hold it. We good? Okay, thank you. So the home tenant-based rental assistance program, TDRA, provides, rental subsidies or short-term rental assistance, security deposits, utility deposits, to persons who, were formerly incarcerated. So we define that as persons who are currently incarcerated and coming back into the community who are at risk of homelessness. And we also prioritize persons who are currently homeless and who were incarcerated at some point. So that's just a reminder. We've had this program a couple of years, and I've overseen it since last year. Recently, a report was published showing that persons who have been incarcerated before experience homelessness at a rate 7 times higher than the general population. And so we've seen in India, there's definitely a need for re-entry programs, and it's been our experience working with them that coupling them with services and short-term supports really help people to re-enter into the community. So this year we released an RFQ for the program in late April, April 29th, and then we had 4 applicants apply, 2 who were reapplying, who currently have funds, and then 2 new ones who we did some outreach and were able to get more people on board for the program. So June 12th, we met as a review team and looked over the applications, and we had quite the request, just a little over 1 million for the need that these agencies saw for this population. And then, but we only have 600,000 at this point to allocate towards it. So we have to make some decisions that you can see in the packet, the aspects that we looked at, compliance with the requirements, their experience with rental assistance programs, financial capacity, do they have a pipeline of folks, are they ready to proceed, and some key performance indicators that we have been looking at and will continue to look at are the total number of households served under the program. So to date, from July 1st, 2018, through today, we've had 75 households served under the program, and we will continue to track the funds, how they're dispersed. To date, we've had, let's see, both the 2 agencies that currently have the funds have spent just a little over 200,000, so they're kind of halfway through their grant awards we expected. And then we will also continue to track the total number of participants that remain stably housed after their assistance ends. So to date, of the 75 households I mentioned that have been served, 65 of those have remained stably housed since the beginning of the program. So a really good success rate. So our recommendation is to fund 3 of the 4 agencies that applied. Aurora Incorporated serves primarily Vanderbilt and the surrounding counties, and they are a current subrecipient of ours. They submitted a strong application, and we are recommending awarding them just a little bit below their request. And part of the reason is just it was more competitive this year. There were 4 agencies applying. Human Services Incorporated, serving Bartholomew County primarily and the surrounding counties. They're a new applicant this year, and they requested the full $300,000, and we thought their application was really strong. They have good rental assistance experience, good program partners that they're working with currently. So we recommend to award them the full request amount. Interfaith Mission Incorporated serves Whitley County and the surrounding counties, and we decided to award them, or we recommend to award them $100,000, which is the minimum request amount. They have they're new to our rental assistance programs, so they don't have a lot of experience there, but we would like to serve that area. It's an underserved area, so we would like to fund them in some way. And then there was one agency, HVAC of Indiana. They serve Marion County and the surrounding counties. So they are current subrecipients, and they did not actually submit a strong application for this year, so it was incomplete, and, it was more competitive this year, so we couldn't fund everybody with the funding we have, so the good news is they still have money on their current contract, they're doing well, so we hope to, continue to work with them, but at this point, we recommended them to not apply, or to not get the funds this round. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Angie Board?
Yeah, they can choose, the primary area was selected because that's where they anticipate most of the, persons coming from, so, but they can decide kind of where the need is in that area. It's not limited to just the primary county first and then the secondary.
Any additional questions? We just take questions from the board. I'm sorry.
I'll be around later, I can answer questions.
Any additional questions? Angie, I think we're ready for your resolution.
Staff respectfully request the board approve the following resolutions. That the board approve awarding an aggregate allocation in the amount not to exceed $600,000 in home investment partnerships program funding to the 3 applicants listed in Table A to administer tenant-based rental assistance as recommended by staff.
Board, we have a resolution before us. This motion to approve. Thank you. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Please welcome Samantha Spergel to discuss a recommendation regarding the West Calumet Neighborhood Workforce Housing Initiative. Welcome, Samantha.
Good morning. I'm Samantha Spergel, Director of Real Estate Production with IHCDA, and today I have something a little different than I normally present to the board. So this is the 3rd proposal under IHCDA's Workforce Housing Initiative. So previously, Matt Rayburn and Chris Nevels have presented 2 other initiatives under workforce housing, the modular housing and the anchor employer. Today, I am requesting approval of the launch of a request for qualifications and programming for the West Calumet Neighborhood Workforce Housing Initiative. So this is in partnership with the City of East Chicago. As you remember, in 2017, Governor Holcomb issued a declaration for IHCDA to work with the City of East Chicago to help provide funding for the demolition of the West Calumet Housing Complex, and then we've also launched the Moving Forward program in East Chicago. In discussions with East Chicago, IHCDA, and the city and the mayor wanted to put together a program to help support single-family home ownership in the West Calumet neighborhood. Several months ago, we met with city officials and the Environmental Protection Agency to discuss the land use in the West Calumet neighborhood. To date, there are 6 parcels that are prepared for single-family development. And so this RFQ would request that eligible nonprofits apply for the development of those 6 parcels to support the development of single-family housing. But the RFQ does something beyond just the development of microphone sticks. Big second. Oh yeah.
Good thing we share. Are there any questions for Samantha?
Correct. So that's really up to the respondent. And so the selected nonprofit will actually be required to do 4 things. The first is for the actual single-family development on the 6 parcels. The second is establishing a revolving loan fund to allow for those funds to be used in perpetuity for the development of affordable housing in West Calumet. The terms and the length of that revolving loan fund are really up to the nonprofit, so IHCDA will provide continued technical assistance on those terms. I know with our moving forward RD, for instance, we're now providing that technical assistance, and I suspect that it'll follow those same traditional guidelines. The third item as part of the workforce housing initiative under the RFQ is to support and provide innovative self-sufficiency strategies. So leaving that up to the selected respondent, but to think outside the box beyond just what the required and pre-housing counseling that we want to see, but to really ensure that those households are able to live in those units for as long as they choose to, and they have the means to be able to be successful in the neighborhood. The last bit, which I'm actually very excited about, and I've been excited about too many things, is a focus on what we're calling comprehensive stakeholder engagement plan or quality of life plan, highly similar to the 6 quality of life plans we actually have here in Indianapolis, and inspired by the work that LISC has done here that's been nationally recognized. So we are asking our selected respondents to really work with the community and create this stakeholder engagement plan. So the community, the city, and the state can work together on a shared vision for development, both from an affordable housing perspective, a market-based housing perspective, and community economic development.
Any additional questions from the board? Samantha, we're ready for your resolution.
Perfect. So staff respectfully requests the board approve the following resolution. Resolve that the board approve the West Calumet Neighborhood Workforce Housing Initiative Program.
Board, we have a resolution before us. Is the motion to approve? Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Samantha. Please welcome Peter Nelson to discuss the recommendation regarding the bond value 4% credits, Nora Pines. Welcome, Peter.
Good morning. Thank you. Let me know if I can pick this up if people can't hear me, but you guys get to enjoy my company for the next 2 agenda items, but for now I am presenting the recommendation for Nora Pines to receive an allocation of 4% tax credits and bond volume. So on January 1, 2018, IHCDA opened the 2018 bond round for the multifamily bond volume. It is an open rolling round, so applications can come in and submit any time they are ready. The application for Nora Pines was the 18th application we received and reviewed in our office. It represents a total development cost of just over $29 million. They are requesting $25 million in bond volume and $1,021,371 in LIHTC annually for 10 years to preserve 254 units of affordable housing. This project is being developed by CWG, who we heard from Tony earlier this morning. They are partnering with the T&D Brick Company. They are proposing a full rehab of this project, which was a former, or I guess, LIHTC project in its extended use period. They were at risk, this project was at risk of having to convert the market rate without some substantial rehab. It contains 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. The rehab is pretty big, including new windows, doors, flooring, appliances, plumbing fixtures, HVAC, AC units, all the big things. It'll also be pretty energy efficient. It'll feature a playground, community laundry, fitness center, and the project has a swimming pool, so it'll keep that up to date. It is located approximately Meridian and 86th Street here in Indianapolis, so it's nearby to a lot of amenities. It is just north of a Target and a Whole Foods, so some grocery and pretty much anything you need. It's right available within actual walking distance. So during the round, the real estate staff reviewed the application to ensure that the criteria set forth in the 2018-2019 qualified allocation plan. And the development team met with us on April 22nd of this year to present the project to members of the real estate and executive staff. We have been tracking some key performance indicators for this project and others, as this is a preservation of affordable housing. We wanted to track just how many units were preserved in the 2018 bond round thus far. If you have it in front of you, you can see projects in Mishawaka, Evansville, and Bloomington have been preserved for a total of 643 units preserved through this program this year, or last year, 2018. staff is recommending the full allocation of the bond volume and like that the project is requesting. With that, I'll take the.
Are there any questions for Peter?
Yes.
That is correct. We just serve as a conduit.
Any additional questions? Peter, we're ready for your resolution.
Staff respectfully request the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the board approve awarding $25 million in bond volume and $1,021,371 in annual LIHTC to Northwood Partners LP and Laura Fines according to the terms of the 2018 AB application round as recommended by staff.
Board, we have a resolution before us. I'll entertain a motion to approve. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Peter, but I think you're still with us, aren't you, for a recommendation regarding the bond volume 4% credit, R8 Reservation 1.
Yes. So the last project was in the 2018 AB round. This is the second application we received during the 2019 AB round. It'll be the first that we're recommending for approval. This project represents a total development cost of $19,744,901, requesting $11 million in bond volume and $572,329 in LIHTC annually to preserve 224 units of affordable housing. Real America Development is proposing this rehabilitation. It is actually the combination of 3 existing properties in Fort Wayne and Huntington, 2 of them in Fort Wayne, 1 in Huntington. It'll be under one bond issuance to preserve these units. Overall, the project includes 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. Similar rehab to the last one, pretty substantial countertops, interior doors, and hardware, new HVAC, all new appliances, replicated interior and exterior units. All 3 of the apartment communities are located near trade areas and are pretty walkable communities. The residents have a lot of access to employment opportunities and amenities and services. One of the projects is pretty much a parking lot length away from a Walmart, so really close to a lot of amenities that the tenants can access. So during this round, we reviewed the criteria. It was also reviewed under the 1819 QAP. And the development team met with us on June 7th to present this project. Some of the key performance indicators for this one, since this was the first one we're recommending for 2019, and is also preservation, I wanted to just show over the past few years how many preservation units we have been able to do using this program. In the 2016 round, we were able to preserve just shy of 400 units. In the 2017 round, just over 500 units. And with the approval of North Pines just now for 2018, that brings 2018 round up to 897 units of affordable housing preserved through the bond program, with the total in the past 3 years of being 1,824 total units preserved. These are the communities, Evansville, Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, Fort Bloomington, Evansville, and like I said, Mishawaka. All considered, we are recommending the full approval of the bond volume and LIHTC that this project is requesting. Any questions on this project?
Are there any questions for Peter?
Correct.
I think we're ready for your resolution.
Staff respectfully request the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the board approve awarding $11 million in bond volume and $572,329 in annual LIHTC to preserve R8 Preservation 1 LP or R8 Preservation 1 according to the terms of the 2019 AB application round as recommended by staff.
Board, we have a resolution before us. I'll entertain a motion to approve. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Peter. Please welcome Rich Harcourt to discuss the RA Preservation LLP bond recommendations.
Good morning, Board. You just approved the resolution for the same project, RA Preservation, the 11 million in bonds and the life check credits. And occasionally, developments move along where they also are ready to close as soon as they have the approval, and that's what this is. So you've approved the bonds. This resolution allows for the IHCDA to do the issue of the bonds, and Andy, to your point, this is all non-recourse conduit financing. Staff recommends the board approve issuance of the Series 2019 multifamily housing revenue bonds, RA Preservation 1 LP project pursuant to the attached resolution.
Are there any questions for Rich? We're ready for your resolution.
Staff respectfully request the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the board approve the Series 2019 multifamily housing revenue bonds, RA Preservation 1 LP project pursuant to the attached resolution as recommended by staff.
Board, we have a resolution before us. Is there a motion to approve? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Rich. Please welcome Elspeth Hilton to discuss a recommendation regarding the Emergency Solutions Grant fiscal year 2019-2020 allocation.
Good morning, I'm Elspeth Hilton. I'm the Director of Community Services at IHCDA. I'm here first to talk about the Emergency Solutions Grant, and then I'll talk about HOPLA after that. The Emergency Solutions Grant is a federal formula grant that is administered by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. It funds shelter activities, including emergency shelter operations, outreach, rapid rehousing, and home prevention. IHCDA is a designated recipient for Indiana's balance of state, which covers all counties outside of Marion. In the program year 2017, ESG funds served 12,549 individuals. It increased the income of individuals served by an average of 33% from entry to exit in the program. It provided an 85% capacity utilization, which is the number of beds and nights available, and it resulted in about half of residents exiting the program into positive housing destinations. For the 2019 application process, the application for the 2019 program year of $3,767,263 is included in the comp plan, and is based on population and other demographic factors to eligible jurisdictions nationwide. The allocation is awarded to qualified applicants who respond to a request for proposals. HUD recommends that the designated recipient break out ESG funding into 7.5% admin and the remaining in direct funding. Of that direct funding, 60% should cover operations and outreach, and the remaining 40% in rapid rehousing programs and homeless prevention. Applicants are awarded a percentage of their funding request based on these maximum totals available. With that, the staff has three recommendations. The staff recommends awarding an allocation of 2019-2020 program year ESG funds, in an aggregate amount not to exceed $1,975,831 for the shelter programs and organizations indicated in Table A, $115,000 for outreach to organizations indicated in Table B, and $1,393,887 for rapid rehousing, homeless prevention, and shelter rapid rehousing organizations indicated in Table C.
Are there any questions for Elspeth? I think we're ready for the resolution.
Okay, I have three, so pause after each.
Yes, we'll take a vote on each one. Thank you.
The staff respectfully requests the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the board approve awarding an allocation of 2019-2020 program year emergency solution grant funds in an aggregate amount not to exceed $1,975,831 for the shelter program to the organizations as indicated in Table A as recommended by staff.
Board, we have a resolution before us. Is there a motion to approve? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Elspeth, and I think we're ready for your next resolution.
Resolved that the board approve awarding an allocation of 2019-2020 program year emergency solution grant funds in an aggregate amount not to exceed $115,000 for outreach to organizations as indicated in Table B as recommended by staff.
Board, we have a motion, or a resolution before us. Is there a motion to approve? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. And we're ready for your third resolution.
Resolved, the board approve awarding an allocation of 2019-2020 program year emergency solution grant funds in an aggregate amount not to exceed $1,393,887 for rapid rehousing, homeless prevention, shelter rapid rehousing to the organizations as indicated in Table C as recommended by staff.
Board, we have a resolution before us. Is there a motion to approve? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Elspeth. We appreciate that.
All right, I'll move on to the HOPWA program. HOPWA is the Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS. It is a federal formula grant that is administered by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for low-income individuals and families who are living with HIV or AIDS. HOPWA funding is used for long and short-term rent, mortgage assistance, utility assistance, facility-based assistance, housing information, supportive services, permanent housing placement services, and a small allowance for administrative operations. IHCDA is the designated recipient for India's balance of state, which covers all counties outside of Marion. At the end of calendar year 2018, 6,391 users were living with HIV, which is an increase of 440 individuals, or about 7% from the prior year. In the 2017 HOPWA program year, 724 qualified individuals were served. 470 of those individuals were male, 248 female, and 6 were trans. Housing was assessed from the beginning to the end of the program year. 75% or 542 clients maintained housing from the project entry phase. The allocation for the 2019 program year of $1,412,803 is included in the fund plan. The allocation is awarded to qualified applicants who respond to a request for proposals. Funding allocations were determined based on the amount of funds requested, previous program success, and epidemiology figures from the Indiana State Department of Health, the amount of households that were served, and the funding available. With this, the staff recommends the board approve awarding an aggregate amount not to exceed $1,370,419 in HOPWA funds to applicants as set forth in Table A for the 2019-2020 program year.
Other questions from the board?
Sorry, Dan, I'm sorry.
It's not requested in every case here, we allocated even more than they requested.
There was a 13% increase in HOPWA funding, and from what I understand, they have been performing well, so the staff recommended that there was an increase in funds, and we have to match the amount awarded to the amount the allocation we received in the fund plan. Does that make sense?
So you had the request in prior to knowing what the final allocation was, is that correct? So we had the proposals into the office prior to us knowing officially what the final dollar amount that we were going to receive. So that was the increase. So is that different? Yeah. The tiny thing that we had. Yeah. Is that right?
That's good.
Are there any additional questions? I believe we're ready for your resolution.
The staff respectfully request the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the board approve awarding an aggregate amount not to exceed $1,350,419 in HOPWA funds to the applicant as set forth in Table A for the 2019-2020 program year as recommended by staff.
Board, we have a resolution before us. I'll entertain a motion to approve. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Please welcome Veronica Watson to discuss a recommendation regarding individual development account program allocation.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me okay? I'm here to request approval for the next round of awards of individual development accounts. These accounts provide an opportunity for low-income individuals to set goals, save, have their savings matched with state funds, purchase eligible assets, and attain greater self-sufficiency. IHCDA plans to make $830,000 available to IDA administrators for this program round. Like last round, this will be a 3-year program with a 3-to-1 match rate, a maximum of $4,500 in matching funds per account, and $500 per account for administration. We released the program application in April of this year for 3 weeks. All applications were reviewed based on previous experience with the IDA program or related programs, ability to serve limited English populations, how many counties are served, established partnerships, plans for fulfilling these programs' educational requirements, and how IDA fits with an organization's mission. Applications have to score at least 60 out of 100 points in order to pass threshold and be qualified for individual development accounts. IHCDA received 20 applications, 8 of which were from new applicants. Of those, 4 applications failed to pass threshold and so were disqualified from receiving accounts this year. The total number of requested accounts was 323, and with the funding on hand, we are able to fill 166 accounts. In order to be fair to all applicants that passed threshold, we multiplied their request by 50% and when necessary, rounded up to the nearest whole number. Over the next 3 years, we will track key performance indicators on how many accounts are open, and of those, how many accounts are ultimately used for asset purchases. Our plan is to focus this fall and winter on increasing the capacity of IDA administrators, so account utilization rates increase in the current and upcoming program rounds. Accordingly, staff recommends awarding IDA funding in an aggregate amount not to exceed $830,000 to the applicants as set forth in table A of the board memo to administer the IDA program ending on June 30th, 2022. I'm happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions?
Certainly. Currently, we have 5 approved asset purchases, and those are to purchase a home in Indiana, to repair a home in Indiana, to start or expand a business, to go to school or to go to job training, and the 5th one is to purchase a vehicle.
Are there additional questions? Veronica, I think we're ready for the resolution.
Staff respectfully requests the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the board approve awarding the 24 applicants as set forth in table A, IDA funding in an aggregate amount not to exceed $830,000 to be used to administer the IDA program as recommended by staff.
We have a resolution before us. Do we have a motion? It's been moved and seconded for approval. All in favor say aye. Opposed nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Veronica. And please welcome Zach Rose to provide an update regarding the Indiana Permanent Supportive Housing Institute.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Good morning. I'm Zach Gross. I'm the Supportive Housing Manager at IHCDA. Thank you for allowing me to present today. The Institute is a highly successful initiative that consumes a lot of my time. So I'm very excited when I get the opportunity to talk about it. So I'm going to start my update today by giving you just a brief background of the Institute, talk about this year's Institute that just ended, and finally to present some of the outcomes we've seen over the past decade. So what's the purpose of the Institute? The Institute is designed to train our partners to develop housing with intensive supportive services attached. To serve the most vulnerable homeless users in Indiana. This requires a really heavy planning and a very intentional approach. There's a lot of factors in supportive housing and housing this population that aren't seen in some other populations of general affordable housing. And so the training helps those partners learn to be able to implement that successfully. And the goal is not only to reduce the time it takes to obtain funding and to develop these projects, but also to ensure that these projects are prepared for long-term operational success.
So the Institute was launched in 2008, and it's been continued every year with the exception of 1 year. So we just had the 10th Institute, which is ended last week. This is the partnership between IHCDA and CSH, the Corporation for Supportive Housing, who we contract with to conduct the training, and we're working very closely on the Institute and other initiatives. Teams are selected each year. Teams consist of a developer, property manager, and support service provider, and they apply through a competitive RFP process each year. Teams attend 4 training sessions over the course of 4 months, which is 11 total days of training. So we have about 2 or 3 days of in-person training each month. And that timeline really allows the team to develop the project together throughout the Institute and make real progress as the Institute goes on. So that's why we do it spread out as opposed to having it all together. So who does supportive housing serve? Who gets served through these projects to get developed? So in the RFP annually, we identify target populations for the Institute. So typically, chronic homelessness is a huge focus. It's been the primary focus of the Institute over the past decade. We've also developed a significant number of projects to target veterans experiencing homelessness. And we've had some years where we've used the Institute to develop projects with a focus on frequent users of emergency systems, the jail and hospital, to alleviate some of the public costs of people who use those systems very frequently. Youth acting foster care and homelessness, and of course, individuals with serious mental illness, disability, substance use disorders, and the like. So just to give you a little bit more of an idea of our Institute structure and how it kind of works. So we have the development team again, which consists of the developers, property manager, support service provider, and these partners attend every Institute session all together. Then we have the training, which is jointly put on by CSH and IHCDA, who train the sessions together. And then CSH develops the materials for the Institute, reviews all of the plans that get developed in the Institute by the teams. They provide pre-development loans for the teams, and also provide technical assistance to projects after the Institute ongoing so they can be successful. And IHCDA, of course, in addition to training, provides capital funding and rental assistance, and also ongoing monitoring of projects. So to give you an idea of some of the benefits of the Institute, so why do people want to go through this? What's the benefit to sitting through the 11 training days? So it's a lot of training. So it really teams together get a really detailed supportive housing plan that involves all the partners, that has them very well prepared for how the project will operate in the future. They have the opportunity to apply for pre-development financing. All partners develop the expertise to operate successful supportive housing, and that expertise can be carried on to produce additional units that are outside the Institute process. And I'll show you more about that a little bit later. They develop a strong network of peers, so they have people to talk to and know who's doing similar work in other areas of the state, and they can reach out to those people if they need assistance. They receive post-Institute ongoing technical assistance from CSH, and of course access to funds from IHCDA. So a little bit about the Institute funding process. So the pipeline of projects applying for funds is managed by IHCDA, so we know every year basically who's waiting to apply for funding or intending to apply based on who's gone through the Institute in previous years. So we identify resources each year prior to the Institute that we can make available, and those resources may change every year depending on our availability of funds and sort of the number of teams in the pipeline and what the process looks like in the given year. So we have projects that typically fit into one of these categories, so that either be 100% supportive housing projects where all the units are supportive housing, developing tax credits, integrated supportive housing projects where a portion of the units are supportive housing using tax credits, and then projects that are developed using a home and housing trust fund funds only, which typically are in smaller developments. We have additional resources that are available to teams, so development funds, project-based housing for projects for rental systems, or continuous care dollars for rental systems. Funding is not automatic. Teams have to complete their complete the Institute and all the materials reviewed by CSH prior to applying for funds, and then of course teams must meet all eligibility requirements and complete the funding rounds they may be applying. So this year our Institute focused on chronic homeless individuals and chronic homeless veterans. The types of development we did this year was we selected three teams to produce integrated supportive housing using tax credits, and 3 teams to produce supportive housing using home and housing trust fund dollars. The institute started in March, and the institute finale was held a week ago today, last Thursday. At the finale, the 6 teams presented their project process to the funders and also community stakeholders, to whom they invited to receive feedback, and they're now working on their applications for funding. So just to give you a little bit better idea, I know this is small, and I don't want to go too deep into this, but just to give you an idea of who we have this year. So we have 6 teams. So 5 will be dedicated to experiencing chronic homelessness. 1 of the 6 will be dedicated to veterans experiencing chronic homelessness. And 1 is also prioritizing survivors of domestic violence as well, which is an important population that is underserved in several areas of the state. So what has been the result over the last decade? So we've had currently 44 operational projects with 1,035 units. We have 8 funded projects that are in development currently, which is a total of 267 units. And we have 12 institute teams working on applications for funding, and that includes the 16 from this year, and then some teams from a few years ago that are still working on their applications to prepare for funding. So this illustrates, we're not slowing down. Over the course of the last decade, we've produced 1,000 units. We have 267 more on the way, and then in addition to 12 teams, we're currently in working on applications. We expect we'll all be receiving funding at some point, and hopefully we'll get that number even much higher than that and continue to keep operating this and producing units. So here's a map that just shows where the supportive housing is in the state. So this map, the darker colors represent more dense number of units. And this is, and it includes projects that are in addition to institute projects. There's some supportive housing units on here that didn't work with the institute. And this is kind of an idea just to give you a broader look at supportive housing in the state, so you can see kind of the context of how the institute fits in the supportive housing work in the state, and also to give you the impact of the institute. So most of the teams that go through get training on how to operate and develop good supportive housing, and most of those teams, a significant portion, go on to develop additional projects using continuous care dollars or local assistance or other IHCDA funds that they access outside of the institute. And that training really allows them to keep operating good housing, even though the projects in the institute will acknowledge that. Our partners are doing really good work. So just a few of the outcomes that we've seen. Chronic homelessness has reduced 37% statewide from 2009 to 2018. We think that's institutes a very large contributing factor to that. It's the primary focus over that time. Over 90% of residents that are housed in institute developments remained permanently housed last year, and so either retained their housing or moved on to another permanent housing option. And that's pretty successful. I think illustrates the success of how these projects operate after they're funded. And in addition, I think it's important to note that we have the 1,000 units. We have 223 units that have been developed specifically for veterans experiencing homelessness, which is a highly vulnerable population. We want to make note of that. Make you aware that we've been working on this population as well. So that's the end of my presentation. I'd be happy to take your questions.
Zach, I noticed one of the things, and Jake and I were talking about this yesterday, is the homelessness among foster kids that are aging out of the foster system. You had mentioned maybe 78% of them are homeless, end up homeless. But I saw that we have addressed that in the past. Is there, what exactly did we do, and can we do more?
Yeah, of course. So we have one institute project right now that's operational that addresses the issue for our apartments in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Last year, we instituted that was one of the target populations, and we had, I believe, three projects that are currently applying for funds that will develop housing for that population. In the future, we intend to make these super targeted, so we're going to be looking at the populations that need it the most and the areas that need it the most, and trying to make sure we're developing the most impactful projects we can. So we'll keep looking at that issue.
And so you provide housing, but do you have wraparound services where you're helping them get a job, providing them with mental health services if they need them? I mean, can you describe the project that is developed and what kind of services are wrapped around it?
Absolutely, yes. So that project specifically and all of our institute projects are required to have pretty intensive wraparound services, and that's really the goal of supportive housing. And so IHCDA can fund a lot of those services, but Medicaid funds a lot of those services, as well as private fundraising dollars for a lot of the projects. So it's a good example of partnerships that we make with all the funding that goes in. That project specifically has an overnight kind of case manager that stays there, work with people, and make sure that everything's going okay. And they have on-site staff that are funded by SCAN, the local nonprofit there. And then they have some partnerships with some of the other local nonprofits and mental health centers to be able to provide those services. So residents receive case management, counseling. It's very common that we'll have on-site case managers. They'll receive addiction services if that's necessary, or mental health treatment, and we provide transportation to and from appointments and things like that.
Any other questions with that? Thank you.
Thank you.
And now Jacob Seid will provide our executive director report.
All right, well, thank you. Just a few quick items here to provide the board with an update. Earlier this week, actually last week, Michael Schottmeyer has been appointed to our board. Mike is from Evansville and is an attorney for Kahn, Dees, Donovan, and Kahn. So he'll be joining us. He wasn't able to join us today, get a conflict, but he told me he's planning to be at our July board meeting. So Michael is a new member of our board member. Just a few other little things here I just want to mention, and these are at the federal level. There is some federal legislation that has been very active in the last 30 days, and actually this week, that will potentially have an impact on IHCDA. What's exciting about this is also that these pieces of legislation have been sponsored by some of our Indiana congressional delegations. So the first one, obviously here, this development was financed using the Affordable Housing Tax Credit, and it's one of the most powerful tools that we have. Today we approved the bonds to preserve 4 properties across our state. But the Affordable Housing Credit Improvement Act was introduced on June 4th, and it was sponsored by Senator Todd Young here in Indiana in the Senate. And in the House, it was also sponsored by Congresswoman Jackie Velasquez. And the act is going to expand the scope of the Affordable Housing Tax Credit. And it's going to do that in a couple of different ways, and I'll just mention 2 of them real quick. One thing that is unique about the bill is that it mirrors the Senate and the House side are identical bills, so that's a good thing for us. The other thing is that it would, over the next 5 years, have a 50% increase in the amount of credits that Indiana would receive. And to kind of put that in perspective, currently in 2019, our tax credit ceiling, which is the total amount that we will have to allocate to do developments like this, is $18.4 million. And if the bill passes, over the next 5 years, we will have around $30 million of tax credits to allocate. So we can have a bigger impact across our state and preserve or create affordable housing in our communities. So the other thing that it does is it establishes a hard floor of 4% credit. So today we issued the multifamily bonds, and those comes with a 4% credit. That 4% is really not a true 4%. It is based on actual federal benchmarks set for lending institutions, and so that actual rate fluctuates, and typically it's well below 4%, it's like 3.5% or something like that. So this bill will actually set the rate at actual 4%. So that will help in many cases was fluctuating, but in 2015, Congress did pass a legislation that did secure the rate at 4% when it was enacted. So we're confident that this is both of these provisions in the Affordable Housing Credit Improvement Act is going to receive a lot of serious attention, and a lot of that's because there's a lot of bipartisan support for this bill. So that's one piece of legislation that was introduced on June 4th. Another one specifically related to the tax credit program is a bill that was just introduced on Tuesday of this week, and it is called Save Affordable Housing Act. And again, it is sponsored by Senator Todd Young in the Senate and also in the House. Congresswoman Representative Jackie Walensky is also a co-sponsor of this bill, and it is addressing the issue of the loss of affordable housing with our tax credit properties. And that happens, we put a 30-year affordability period on properties like this. However, after year 15, properties can look for what's called a qualified contract provision. And that qualified contract provision then requires IHCDA to develop a selling price. And if IHCDA is unable to find a buyer for that price that was established, then IHCDA has to release the extended use agreement of the property, and so it can flip the market rate. This bill will ensure that these properties remain affordable for 30 years, which is what the original intent of the 1986 Tax Reform Act was for. And so with that, the challenge that we have is that the formula that is used to determine the selling price is oftentimes, in every situation that we have here in our state, is inflated. The formula is broken. And so this bill will go to fix that, and will ensure that when we do have to establish a selling price, that is a fair market selling price and not an inflated selling price based on the current formula that's in the code. So, again, really proud to be able to see this type of legislation come through. We propose to secure the affordable housing properties that have been financed through IHCDA remain affordable for at least 30 years. What kind of impact has this currently happening on our state? And so if we take a look back, since January 1st of 2012, the qualified contracts, we have received 52, and we have had to release 52 properties across our state. And there are currently 9 more in the pipeline that we can lose as a result of the qualified contract price. So certainly this is a piece of legislation that is welcome from IHCDA standpoint and supportive, and really proud that Indiana, Senator Young and Congresswoman Walensky are sponsoring these 2 bills. So those are those pieces there. There's also a couple other pieces of legislation that was introduced this month. The first one is HUD Manufactured Housing Modernization Act. It was also co-sponsored by Senator Young, and this will require HUD to issue guidance on ensuring that manufactured housing is looked at and included into consolidated plans for communities and IHCDA on some of our priorities for housing. So the HUD Manufactured Housing Modernization Act that was introduced on June 12th, which will look for IHCDA to make sure that we are identifying that as a building type for affordable housing. So Secretary of HUD is required, or would be required then to implement that as well. The last piece of legislation that was introduced on June 11th was also co-sponsored by Senator Young, but was also has bipartisan support with 13 other senators. Is called the Task Force on the Impact of Affordable Housing Crisis Act. And this piece of legislation looks to evaluate and quantify the impact that affordable housing is having on other types of areas within our communities, such as education, employment, income, health, nutrition, access to transportation, and poverty issues. And also it looks at how it can impact regional economic development growth and also revitalizing our neighborhoods in both our urban and our rural communities. So that evaluation, this task force will look at that evaluation and quantify the cost of the lack of affordable housing on the federal government, on state government, and also on our local government programs as well. So that group, this will also then make a recommendation to Congress on how best to use affordable housing to improve the effectiveness of other federal programs, as I mentioned, education, transportation, healthcare. So it's really challenged us to think more broadly about how housing can influence and have a positive impact on other quality of life initiatives that we have, which is what IHCDA has been doing now for several years in trying to connect those dots between housing and quality of life. And we heard very clearly from Sam on how we're doing that in West Calumet with the quality of life plan for the neighborhood there. So those were 4 pieces of legislation. I just wanted to make the board aware of. 2 of them are very specific, actually 3, because the consolidated plan is something that we do. I also just mentioned that as part of the ESG and HOPLA. But as it relates to the HUD manufactured housing modernization. So really, every one of these bills impacts IHCDA, a few of them more so than others. But just want to make the board aware of those 3 because they were introduced in the last 30 days, and one of the most recently was Tuesday this week. So, speaking of some initiatives that we have 3 workforce housing initiatives now. With the West Calumet single family initiative, the modular housing pilot program that we launched earlier this spring. The applications were due on Monday of this week, and I'm happy to report that we received quite a bit of response to that. We received 10 applications, which is very exciting. And so the communities that are interested in participating in this pilot program was the city of Marion, the town of Boonville, Edwardsville, Elkhart, Terre Haute, Elmwood, Richmond, Kokomo, East Chicago, and Fort Wayne. Those are the communities that responded to our RFP that we released. Our goal is to make a recommendation to the board next month at our July board meeting for 2 organizations, 2 not-for-profits that would receive $500,000 to implement a strategy to put modular housing on some of our existing blight and elimination lots. The Anchor Employer Demonstration Program, which we launched back in last month, those proposals are due to us on July 29th. We'll have a little bit more information at the end of next month on that one. Speaking of the July board meeting, that will take place in Fort Wayne at another elementary school called Riker Reserve. We're really excited to be part of that community when we visit them for our board meeting next month, and that'll be on July 25th at 10 a.m. at the Riker Reserve Apartments in Fort Wayne. That's kind of back over to you. That's my update.
Are there any questions? Okay. Is there any further business to come before the board? Wonderful. Any additional business, announcements? Is there a motion to adjourn? Second? Okay, well, I know everyone is. We stand adjourned. Thank you.